Hello, this is Mary from the Harboring Light. I give a conservative observation about the world around me. As I like to do in the beginning of the podcast, I like to talk about my social media and my audio platforms that I'm on. So social media, I will link those in this podcast. And my audio platforms, I am on iHeartRadio, I'm on Amazon Music, I am on Spotify and Spotify for podcasters, and Pandora, and I'm looking to grow to wherever you enjoy your podcasts. I'm on that. So the topic that I'm discussing is the PSAs from the Fox Kids rules. Those PSAs, I'm going to do a deep dive on that and do a commentary about that. So let's talk about this. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the Fox Kids network and give you the background about that. So it gives more in-depth understanding about the PSAs. Okay, so Fox Kids was a Saturday morning and weekday morning program block for a while that aired from 1990 to 2002 on Fox. Besides its own in-house productions, it also aired shows produced by Saban Entertainment and or Marvel Productions, as well as those made by Deke Entertainment, Warner Brothers Animation, Universal Cartoon Studios, and Gaumont. It often aired on Fox, owned or affiliated with UPN, the WB, and independent stations. The origin of the block has two different root causes, depending on who you ask. Okay, so one story says that it claims a result of a dispute between Disney and Fox under Barry Diller over carriage of the Disney Afternoon, which was set to air on Disney's newly purchased station, KCAL-TV, Channel 9 in Los Angeles, rather than Fox station KTV channel, which had aired DuckTales in 87 and Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers by that point. Long story short, Diller rallied against Disney, and the 4-year-old network started their own kids division. Another story goes as this says. However, claims it was Harry Pappas, owner of several major Fox affiliates, be it that suggested the network get into the kid vid business, as stations like his were getting squeezed by syndicators, including Disney, demanding more of the advertising and their kids' programming, leaving the station without enough for themselves. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the history of the 90s to set everything in perspective about the background of the PSAs. So here we go. The 90s was a time of prosperity. For the most part of the 90s, Bill Clinton was president, the first baby boomer to live in the White House as the commander-in-chief. The Berlin Wall, the prime symbol of the Cold War, fell in November 1989, and Germany was reunited in 1990 after 45 years of separation. The Cold War officially ended in the fall of Soviet Union on Christmas Day of 1991, and it seemed as if a new era had dawned. The 90s witnessed the death of super celebrities, Princess Diana and John F. Kennedy Jr., and the impeachment of Bill Clinton, which did not result in a conviction, happened as well. In 1995, O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of the double murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ron Goldman, in what's been called the trial of the century. The decade closed with the... Bye, sweet angel. This is my daughter there. The decade closed with the sun coming up on a new millennium on January 1st, 2000. My sweet baby. That's my other daughter. Now, I'm going to talk about a little interesting tidbits, too, to set in perspective about the culture of the 90s. Now, here we go with money and inflation in the 90s. In 1990, a new house cost $123,000. By 1999, it was $137,700. In 1990, the average income per year was $28,970. And by 1999, it was $40,810. Now, in 1990, a gallon of gas was $1.34, and by 1999, it was it was $1.22. $100, geez, but it was $1.22. It's the way times are going right now. It seems like that is in the perspective in the horizon, but I have hope that things will get better. The average cost for a car in 1990 was $16,000, and by 1999, it was $21,100. Now let's move on to the popular toys of the 90s. All right, so with the decade, it included Nintendo Game Boy, the Tamagotchi pets, Tickle Me Elmo, Super Nintendo, the Sony PlayStation. I had one of those. They were pretty awesome. I remember playing the Casper Friendly Ghost game and all of that. That was pretty neat. And I also had the Furby. And so let's go on and continue it out with the Jurassic Park. The compound of the Jurassic Park. And I remember the Jurassic Park movies and everything. And I also had the Jurassic Park PlayStation game. It was pretty neat. And then Teacher Barbie, Sega Saturn CD game system, and the Nintendo 64 game system. And also to add on to it, feel free to talk to me on social media about what your favorite, those 90 kids out there, your favorite games you like to play, just in anything that was interesting to you about the 90s, all of that. Feel free to contact me through social media, and I'll have all those links included in this episode of the podcast. Email me. Feel free to do that. In the Fox Kids series of PSAs, the network taught us to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. While avoiding copyright infringements on the Ice Cube song, the ads were all reminders of ways to control our emotions and proper etiquette. Now, they were kind of goofy, from the outside looking in on the surface level. But I think it, worked because it was the 90s. And I think it was well suited and well, it just, made its place for that time. Now, what are my thoughts about the PSAs of check yourself and all of that, and the background behind them? I think for all intents and purposes, even with the campiness of it, it was a good attempt to help children think about their emotions and be more productive and have those kind of thought processes. On the outside looking in, it might seem, from other perspectives, that it's part of the issues of things that are going on today, that people, millennials more intact of wanting things to go that way and not having a real perspective about other people's points of views. But I think, that can be traced into it. But I think that it was a really good attempt to try and get young people, particularly children, to think about the repercussions of their emotions. And I think that was one of the really good aspects of growing up in the 90s and so on, that you could have sources like this to look upon, to think about things internally and deeply about the world around us. And I think it was just a really good stepping stone for all of this. And I think a lot can be said about that. And even though the sort of things that are going on today, with millennials' perspectives about things, I think that the background of things that went on in the 90s was really productive to try and have accountability about your actions. And, as I said before, that's something to think about. So we're reaching the end of the Harboring Light. And also I want to talk about and add on to the ending of this. Feel free, you want to talk to me on social media, email me about your thoughts about things from the 90s or so on, or in general about that with pop culture and so on and so forth, even from other decades, generations. Feel free to do that. And as I said in the beginning, I will have all of those social media links in this episode of the podcast. So this is the Harboring Light, and tune in and turn it all the way up. Thank you, and take care.